one thing that everyone talks about. Every amazing, exceptional company in the world has amazing culture, but no one knows what the heck it is. And I have studied how the biggest businesses in the world build what we call culture, how they use this invisible force to make billions of dollars. And after studying it for 4 years at Amazon, I have the blueprint that you can use the same exact system to build your own culture and make millions of dollars for yourself so you can reap the same rewards as these giants have as well. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Jordan Ross. I'm the founder of 8-Figure Agency. We're a growth consultancy that's helped over 800 agencies scale while also helping our clients add over 9 figures in annual recurring revenue. Now, culture, by my definition, is what your people say and do when you are not around. Culture, as another definition, is group think. It's group behavior. It's group emotions. It's the collective of what everyone is saying and doing when no one's looking. If this is what culture is, if it is the output as to what culture is, well, the input means the things that we can control to influence behaviors. And I don't know about you, but for me, leadership is fascinating because if we know how to influence behavior, it's so stimulating at scale, right? I think a lot of people on a manipulation perspective, they go down a dark hole where they start becoming power hungry because they want to control people. But I think influence is actually one of the most stimulating concepts in the world. Here's some of the foundational things that you need to consider to implement into your company to start building culture so you could start building millions and millions of dollars in annual recurring revenue or profit. So there are core 3 fundamentals that you're going to need in your company: a mission, vision, and purpose, values, and heuristics. Now, 2 of these 3 you've heard of. The mission, vision, and purpose are pretty easy. You need a clear mission and vision and purpose as to where you're going, why you're heading there, and why you exist. At Amazon, this is to become the world's most customer-centric company or be the world's most customer-centric company. The core of Amazon's DNA is the customer, and the core of everything Amazon does is about the customer. So for you and your business, what is that? Why do you exist? What's the big, hairy, audacious goal that you're pursuing? What is the thing that your team members are going to get excited of to pursue? I found that working at Amazon, this is critical because people want a big aspiration to accomplish. The second thing are values. Now, values are the core fundamentals of your company DNA. These are the things that you implement, such as words like ownership, customer obsession, buys for action, earn trust. These are some of Amazon's company values that you are going to use to source, hire, interview, onboard, train, manage. These things become the words of your company. And the final ones are heuristics. Now, heuristics, a lot of people don't know, but you've heard them before. You just didn't consciously know what they were. Heuristics are simple sets of rules that drive complex sets of behaviors. Now, heuristics are really fascinating because if you think about bees or ants, these small creatures that have either no brain or a microscopic brain, but yet they're able to build these massive things that are super intricate and complex. In their DNA encoding, they have something called heuristics, which are these simple sets of rules that lead to complex results. Now, in your business, heuristics show up in a lot of different places. If you go to corporate America, like when I was at Amazon, within management, they would teach us these words, these phrases that meant so much more. Trust but verify. Assume positive intent. These were things that, as a manager, when I was not performing and there was a specific scenario where I might not have audited someone, did you trust but verify was a specific verbiage that came up. And we're going to dive into that in a second. These pillars, mission, vision, purpose, values, and heuristics, this is what everything of culture is built on top of. If you have these 3 things, you can succeed. Now, a wrinkle within this, Daniel Coyle, who's the founder of The Culture Code, one of my best recommended books on this topic, also found that the foundation of effective high-performing culture is safety. So baked somewhere within your values, you have to have something around respect or treating people nicely. This culture of being up in your face or super masculine, while it gets a lot of clicks and likes online, it's not going to create a culture of extremely high performance at scale because people are going to be afraid. So how do we use these things? Mission, vision, purpose. This is something that you're going to share a lot weekly, even sometimes every other day, where you talk about why you're doing what you're doing. You remind people of the North Star. It gives them a sense of a broader purpose as to where they're going. That's all you really need to bring it into context in, but you want to mention this maybe on customer PowerPoints, team member meetings, right? You want it to come up pretty often. Your values. Now, I mentioned it, but you want to have a specific defined set of words that are critical to your essence. You could choose 5 to 10 as a recommendation. These are words that you're going to define and you're going to get pretty specific in. When you interview people, you want to interview people against these words. So you want to create scenarios that extrapolate if they demonstrate these words. A great example of this is demonstrating buys for action. You could have a core value in your company of buys for action. And during an interview, you could ask someone the question, I'm going to give you a scenario and I want you to tell me what you would do. Now, it's a Friday afternoon at 4:30 p.m. You have dinner at 6 o'clock and you need to go get ready and pick up a few things. A customer bombshell has exploded, and the only way to save this customer is by jumping in and solving the problem. What do you do? It's 4:30 Friday. How they respond, if they respond well, that's going to represent buys for action, right? Did they do something? Because you're actually seeing in the moment how they truly respond. When you use values, you're going to create interview questions. You're going to train people during onboarding on these values. And what you're also going to do is in your annual reviews, you're going to rank people as to which of these values are their strengths and which of these values are their opportunities. You use these to give them a reason to develop and improve. Use these as a way to acknowledge and coach and develop. Now, by using these in your conversations and development conversations, this is how you reinforce your culture. People get further bought in because they now correlate your values to incentives and their compensation. If they demonstrate those values and they use those values, they will earn more money, they will be recognized more, and they will start to be able to move up the chain. And the final thing was heuristics. Now, heuristics, as I already mentioned, you need to have a set of simple rules, and then you need to train managers on using those rules. So at Amazon, we have them for pretty much every major topic or every major department. As I already mentioned, trust but verify, assume positive intent, seek to understand. These were some of these. But a great example of this was when I was a new manager, I took off early one day for a dentist appointment. And when I was leaving, I asked my assistant manager if he could do the end of day report. And he said, no problem. I didn't think twice of it. I didn't check in. And then the next day, when I came back into work, my manager, at the time, his name was Charlton, he said, hey, did you do the end of day report? I said, no, I hadn't. My assistant manager, Justin, did, and everything was okay. And he said, are you sure he did it? Did you trust but verify? And it was in that moment that I realized what trust but verify meant. It's that I did have to actually audit. I couldn't just assume things were getting done. And how this could become tangible for a company like you is you need to come up with all the scenarios that people seem to mess up, that it's the moments of ambiguity, that kind of gray area that you can't exactly always train people for. When those things happen, it usually could implement a heuristic. You're going to roll out heuristics. You're going to train managers on them. You're going to introduce it to the company. And if you start to notice people start to display the behavior well, the heuristic worked. If they don't and the behavior persists and it's not the positive behavior that we want to see, the heuristic didn't work and we need to swap out that heuristic and swap in a new one. Throughout all of your company, your managers are going to be the ones that have to know your MVP, your values, and your heuristics, and using those words and phrases in their conversations to implement the performance standards that you seek, right? So if you think about any culture in any company or any country in the world, they have specific phrases, they have specific languages and behaviors. This is how you shape it. These core three, you bring it into your all hands, you bring it into your casual conversations, you bring it onto swag and company apparel. And this is how you influence culture at scale. When you do this, your team members will start to change their behaviors and increase their standards and perform at a higher level, increasing your results, increasing your profits, making a bigger impact. If you received value, first and foremost, thank you so much for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe. If you want to consume more of my stuff, make sure you go to the link below where it says trainings to get some of my best trainings on how you can grow your company. And if you're looking for assistance, if you want a consultation on how to grow your business, make sure you go to the link below that says consultation, and we will be able to build you a custom roadmap on how you can scale your company. Thank you, and I'll catch you in the next one.